I remember the accident, the truck speeding towards me, then nothing.
Lingju woke with a gasp. Fluorescent lights buzzed above him, his head throbbed. Where was he? He remembered the truck speeding towards him, then nothing.
Lingju, you're awake, thank goodness.
A woman in a white coat bustled over. She didn't look like any nurse he knew. Her uniform was different, more like a futuristic jumpsuit. Her name tag read Dr. Li Wei. Dr. Li explained he was in Lantian Base, a secure human settlement. Apparently he had been in a coma for a week. Also, the world outside was not the one he knew.
There was an incident, a dimensional anomaly. It brought changes.
She spoke slowly, choosing her words carefully. Lingju's heart sank as he realized this was no ordinary hospital. This was no ordinary world.
Changes?
The animals. They're different now, dangerous. We call it the ferocious beast invasion.
Dr. Li explained that 10 years ago the world had changed overnight. Animals, insects, even plants were affected. They mutated, becoming larger, stronger, more aggressive. The planet was overrun. Humanity was pushed to the brink. Cities became concrete jungles overrun by monstrous creatures. Forests turned into treacherous death traps. The old world order crumbled. Humanity's only hope was to band together, build fortified cities and fight for survival. The age of the ferocious beasts had begun. Lingju struggled to comprehend it all. It was like something out of a nightmare, except this was real. He was living it. As Dr. Li spoke, a cold fear gripped his heart. He was trapped in a world gone mad. After a week, Lingju was discharged. He stepped out into Lantian Base, a city built within a massive dome. The dome shimmered with an energy field, protecting the city from the outside. Inside, it was a hive of activity. People went about their lives, but there was an underlying tension. The threat of the beasts was ever present. The air was different too, charged, almost electric. It hummed with an unseen energy. Lingju learned this was gene arcana, the energy source of the beasts. It permeated the air, the water, even the earth itself. Life in the base was a constant struggle. Resources were scarce. Danger lurked outside the dome. The constant threat of beast attacks kept everyone on edge. Lingju realized survival was not a given in this new world. It was something you fought for every single day. Not all humans were powerless against the beasts. Some had awakened extraordinary abilities, fueled by the gene arcana. They were called arcanists. Arcanists possessed incredible strength, speed, and could even manipulate the elements. They were humanity's protectors, standing as a bulwark against the beast tide. Lingju watched in awe as a team of arcanists returned from a mission outside the dome. They moved with a power and grace that seemed almost inhuman. One, a woman incinerated a monstrous insect and took it to wrist.
I yearn for that kind of power, not just to survive, but to protect others.
He thought of his younger sister, Ling Xiaotong. She was out there, somewhere, facing this dangerous new world alone. The more Lingju learned about arcanists, the more determined he became. He scoured the base library, devouring any information he could find on gene arcana and how to awaken it. He trained relentlessly, pushing his body to its limits.
I have to become stronger. I have to find Xiaotong.
Some people scoffed at his ambition. They said not everyone could be an arcanist, that it was a matter of luck, of destiny. But Lingju refused to believe it.
I feel a spark within me, a potential waiting to be unleashed. I just need to find a way to ignite it.
He heard whispers of a special academy, a place where they trained potential arcanists. The thought of it both excited and terrified him. It was a long shot, but it was his only shot.
I have to try. For myself, for Xiaotong, for a future where humanity can fight back.
Meanwhile, Ling Xiaotong was indeed facing her own battles. Separated from her brother during the initial chaos, she had been surviving on her own for years. She was tough, resourceful, but the constant threat of danger had taken its toll.
I've seen things no one my age should ever witness. The brutality of the beasts, the desperation of humans fighting to survive.
It had hardened her, made her wary, but beneath the tough exterior, she still held on to the hope of finding her brother.
I've heard rumors of Lantian Base, a haven for humans. The stories are faint, passed from survivor to survivor, but they give me hope.
She clung to the belief that Lingju was alive, that he was out there, looking for her, and she would keep fighting, keep surviving until they were reunited.
I will keep fighting. I will keep surviving until we are together again.
Section 7, a training ground zero. Ling Ju finally found it, the Arcanist Academy. It was a sprawling complex buzzing with energy. Young men and women, all vying to become Arcanists, trained relentlessly. Some sparred with fierce intensity. Others practiced controlling elements. The air crackled with raw power.
I enrolled, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The instructors were strict, pushing us to our absolute limits. The training was brutal, designed to weed out the weak, but I embraced the challenge.
He learned about the different types of Arcanists, pyromancers who commanded fire, geomancers who controlled earth, hydromancers who manipulated water. He discovered his own affinity lay with something rarer, something called spatial manipulation. It was a difficult and dangerous path, but Ling Ju was not deterred. He would master it no matter the cost. Section 8, the Gene Arcana Theory. As he trained, Ling Ju learned more about the gene arcana that permeated their world. Scientists believed it was a form of extra-dimensional energy that had seeped into their reality during the dimensional anomaly. It had mutated the planet's flora and fauna, creating the ferocious beasts. But it had also awakened something in humanity.
The gene arcana interacts with human DNA, unlocking hidden potential. It is a random process, unpredictable. Some people awaken powerful abilities, others gain minor enhancements, most remain unchanged.
Ling Ju was determined to unlock his full potential. He knew it wouldn't be easy. But the thought of finding Xiao Tong, of protecting her from this dangerous world, fueled his determination. He would master his powers. He would become an Arcanist. He would reclaim their future. Section 9, a brother's resolve. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Ling Ju trained relentlessly, pushing his body and mind to their limits. He honed his control over spatial manipulation, learning to teleport short distances, create spatial barriers, even manipulate the very fabric of space. He was still a novice, but his progress was remarkable.
The instructors were impressed by my dedication, my sheer willpower. They saw in me the potential for greatness. But even as I trained, the thought of Xiao Tong never left my mind. I clung to the hope of finding her, of reuniting with her.
One day, a group of older Arcanists returned to the Academy after a mission outside the dome. They brought with them tales of a young woman, tough and resourceful, surviving alone in the wilds. Her description matched Xiao Tong's perfectly. Ling Ju's heart soared with hope. He was closer than ever to finding her. No. Section 10, on the cusp of change. The final test for the Arcanist Academy students was approaching. It was a perilous mission outside the dome, a trial by fire. Only those who proved themselves in the face of danger would graduate as full-fledged Arcanists.
I knew this was my chance, not only to prove myself, but to search for Xiao Tong. I trained harder than ever, pushing myself to the brink of exhaustion. I honed my skills, mastered new techniques, preparing for the challenges ahead.
The day of the test arrived. Ling Ju stood shoulder to shoulder with his fellow students, a mixture of excitement and apprehension in their eyes. He took a deep breath, feeling the gene arcana thrumming in the air. This was it. His chance to become the protector he always wanted to be. His chance to find his sister. His journey was just beginning.
Don't forget to subscribe and like.